Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Dashtapraye Shabhadresho Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Tirvavati Naishtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 3, text number 20. Snigdhasmitavalokena Vacha Piyushakalpaya Charitrinanavadyena Sriniketena Chatmana Snigdhasmitavalokena Vacha Piyushakalpaya Charitrinanavadyena Sriniketena Chatmana Snigdhasmitavalokena Vacha Piyushakalpaya Charitrenanavadyena Sriniketena Chatmana. He was there in his transcendental body, the residence of the goddess of fortune, with his usual gentle and sweet smiling face, his nectarian words and his flawless character. In the previous verse, it is described that Lord Krishna, being situated in the truths of a Sankhya philosophy, is detached from all kinds of matter. In the present verse, it is described that he is the residence of the goddess of fortune. These two things are not at all contradictory. Lord Krishna is detached from the variegatedness of the inferior nature, but he is in eternal blissful enjoyment of the spiritual nature, or his internal potency. One who has a poor fund of knowledge cannot understand this distinction between the external and internal potencies. In the Bhagavad Gita, the internal potency is described as a para prakriti. In the Vishnu Purana also, the internal potency of a Vishnu is described as a para shakti. The Lord is never detached from the association of para shakti. This para shakti and her manifestation are described in the Brahma Samhita. Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavitabhis. The Lord is eternally joyful and cognizant in the test derived from such a transcendental bliss. Negation of vectorness of the inferior energy does not necessitate negation of the positive transcendental bliss of the spiritual world. Therefore, the Lord's gentleness, His smile, His character, and everything related to Him are all transcendental. Such a manifestation of the internal potency are the reality, of which the material shadow is only a temporary representation, from which everyone with the proper knowledge must be detached. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवाञ्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथन्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं वर्यनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितं च स्निग्धस्मितावलोकेन वाचा पीयूषकल्पया चरित्रेणानवद्येन श्रीनिकेतेन चात्मना। So, as yesterday we have discussed, that how the Lordship, who is like a Vishwatma, who follows all the rules and regulations when he descends to material world. Whatever he has laid down the principle through the Vedic scriptures, he follows that. Loka Veda Pathanugaha. Whatever he has spoken in Bhagavad Gita, he followed in his life. As he says himself, Yad yad acharati shreshthas tat tat eve taro janaha sayat pramanam kurute lokas tad anuvartate. The general mass of people, they should follow what? The example that has established and laid by the Sreshthas, the superior people. Kamansi sheve dvarvatyam asakta sankhya astitaha. And he was situated in the Sankhya philosophy. So what is this Sankhya philosophy? It is the analytical study of the material world through which one can understand the temporary nature of this material world, difference between the material world and the spiritual entity, that is we, soul, and the super soul. And after understanding that, whatever one develops the knowledge and renunciation, that is what the Sankhya philosophy. And here in this verse, Uddhavji says, even though he was totally detached and situated in knowledge, but he always had a beautiful smile, beautiful enchanting smile on his face. Snigdha smitavalokena. Snigdha means enchanting actually, sweet. So Lord had that sweet smile on his face always. And there are a few other characteristics of the Lord that he has explained. He says, Vacha Piyusha Kalpaya. The Lord's speech is so nectarian. Piyusha means nectar. So Lord's speech is so nectarian. And Charitrena Anavadyena. Anavadyena means without any kalanka. His charitra, his characteristic, or his character is without any flaw. And what's the next? Sriniketena. Generally, we see in this material world, whoever has a money or any sort of Aishwarya, that person not necessarily has a good character. We find because of money, as we have seen in case of Nalakuvera and Manigriva, who were the sons of Kuvera. And because of the anartha that arises because of opulences is nothing but persons becomes madandha, mother andha. He becomes blind because of that Aishwarya. And Lord is a Sriniketana. Sriniketana means, Sri means goddess of fortune. And Niketana means abode. Lord is the abode of all goddess of fortunes. And still he has a flawless character. Seems to be contradictory. Because whoever has the money in this world, he has a loose character. And most of the time, in general, people consider Prabhu Ramachandra as a Charitravan, huh? And Lord Krishna as who has a problem with the character. Who goes along with other wives, huh? Who steals away the clothes of Gopi. Not a sane man can do that. But all contradictory resolves in the Supreme Personality of a Godhead. Like once when Durvasa Muni was staying at a Panigaon on the eastern bank of Yamuna, and all the gopis with Shrimati Radharani was going to render some service to him. And every day they were taking some food to offer him. But one day when they were planning to go, they saw there was a flood in Yamunaji. And they can't go through. Even boat also can't sail in that water. Water was so turbulent. And then there was a person who cunningly standing on the banks of Yamuna. Then he asked, "May I help you?" Gopis thought that, okay, there's no other option. We have to go and serve Durvasa. So let's take help from this person. And then said, okay, how you can help us? I can make a way out of this water for you. But how? And he said, you just go and tell that Yamuna, if Krishna is a brahmachari, then please give us a way. So they were surprised. They said, what is this? Are you sure that we should say this? Yeah, he said, you check it. If I am a brahmachari, then Yamuna will give you way. So few gopis they had it out and few they said, yeah, he is brahmachari. If he says, he is. No doubt about that. So they went. They stood on the bank of Yamuna and they asked Yamunaji, if Krishna is the brahmachari, please give us a way. And immediately Yamunaji just went apart and she gave a passage through the banks of Yamuna, banks of fire. And all they walked. They went, they gave full service to Durvasa Muni. And Durvasa Muni, after having prasad, got pleased. And he said, okay, I'm happy with you. You can ask whatever you want. And then all the gopis said, can you make us a way so that we can go back to our houses? He said, okay, how you have come? And they said, this is what we have done. That we went to Krishna. And Krishna told us that we should say like this, and Yamunaji gave way. They said, okay, you go and just tell Yamunaji, Durvasa has not eaten anything, and she will give you away. They were surprised how it is. We have so much sauce, large quantity of prasad, and he just gulped it everything. And how is saying that he has not eaten anything? So Gopi said, okay, we should follow his words, otherwise he will curse us. So they came and they asked Yamunaji, if Durvasya has not eaten anything, so please give us away. And Yamunaji just parted away. And they came. Surprised, how come? Because whatever was eaten, that was eaten by the body, not by the soul. And Krishna, he is his charitra anavadena, who has a flawless character. Because in a broad sense, Ekala Ishvara Krishna Ara Sabha Bhratya Jara Jaise Nachaye Tare Kara Nritya. There is only one person who is a real enjoyer, Ishvara, and that is Krishna. And all other are his potencies, and they are Prakriti, means three. And Stri is always get enjoyed by the Purusha. So Krishna is the real enjoyer in all the sense. So all the women in this world are his wives only. All we are his wives. Then if he dances with someone, what is your problem? Once one of the Swamiji was giving lecture, and one person, he just caught up and he started blaspheming the Lordship. Why you people worship Krishna? Huh? He dances with others women, others girls. Huh? It's not good character. Why he has to do that? And that Swamiji asked him, was there a mother or sister with him that time? Why you are so disturbed? He kept quiet and sat down. It's none of your business. You mind your own thing. That you are doing which is not adherent to the principles of Vedas. Whatever he is doing is perfect because he has all authority to do that. Being a Swarat, he can do anything and everything. And if someone sane person, if he can understand what was his stage when he performed that rasa dance? Huh? 9 years old. Can you imagine what kind of a relationship the 9 years old boy can have with a girl? Is there any physical thing will happen? Nowadays it's happening because people, what they do? They wanted to pretend themselves as a gopis and Krishna. And they do all sort of this garvas and this and that for their own pleasure. It's not for the pleasure of their lordship. But once in a year they get a free ticket from their parents to dance with any characterless person, whether it is a woman or man. And you will find that sort of a people only they becomes more enthusiastic for all these things. Once Prabhupada was giving lecture in Calcutta and one sponsor or one person who hosting that program, he was bugging Prabhupada to speak on the Rasa Panchadhyaya, the 5 chapters from Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto, which explains about the rasa. Then Prabhupada said, you may be qualified to understand that, but I am not qualified to explain that. So better we should not discuss that. Because that was discussed by the topmost renounced person in this world of that time was Shukadev Goswami. By seeing whom, even women, they never thought of putting on clothes. But when they saw Vyasadeva, they immediately covered themselves. Vyasadeva asked him, "What is this? It seems to be a contradictory totally behavior. My son, who is of your own age, like a 18 years old, most beautiful and handsome person who is walking naked, by seeing him, you never got any disturbance in your mind. You never thought of covering your bodies. But when you saw me, who is like a great grandfather in a age, and you got ashamed by seeing me and you just covered yourself. What is the real reason behind that?" Then all that great damsels, they folded their hands and humbly they said, "Vyasadevaji, oh dear Vyasadevaji, we don't want to offend you, but the fact is that your son is totally transcendental to all the material dualities. And being a grihastha, you are in that dvandva of this material world. So here we can understand person, Vyasa Uchishta Jagat Sarma, who knows the whole knowledge, who has given the all Vedic knowledge in the written form, and that person can be in the duality of this material nature. So only a Vedic knowledge is not a way to understand their Lordship and render service to Him. But what is necessary is getting absorbed in His thoughts. And that's what happened with Shukadeva Goswami. And that person has explained about the glories of the Lord and His intimate pastimes of the gopis. So do they will be like a useless thing or affairs of this material world? No ways. Sanak Sanatan, they were the first people who spoke Srimad Bhagavatam. Do you know? The most renowned persons in this universe, they spoke about Srimad Bhagavatam, which explains about the intimate pastimes about their lordship and the gopis. Prabhupada says, by hearing about this wonderful relationship between Lord and His devotees, can purify your heart. So it is always admirable and adorable by everyone about hearing and discussing about the wonderful pastimes of the Lord. And Prabhupada says, He is in His transcendental body always. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha. What is explained by the Brahmaji in the first word of Brahma Samhita? He says, Ishvara Parama Krishna, the topmost controller, is none other than Krishna. And how is he? Satchidananda Vigraha. His form is full of Sat, Chit and Ananda. Means he has a transcendental body. So whoever has a transcendental body, even if someone possesses the transcendental consciousness, then he never gets affected by the modes of material nature. Then what to speak of the person who has a transcendental body itself and who is not different from his body? And if someone discuss about that personality, then the person who discuss and who hear about that gets situated in that transcendental position, which takes him away from the modes of material nature. Then in the next verse he says, Imam lokam mam shaiva ramayan sutaram yadam reme kshanadaya datta kshanastri kshanasauradha. The Lord enjoyed His pastime both in this world and in the other worlds, that higher planets, specifically in the association of the Yadu dynasty. At a leisure hours offered by night, he enjoyed the friendship of a conjugal love with women. The Lord enjoyed in this world with his pure devotees. Although he is the personality of a Godhead and is a transcendental to all material attachment, he nevertheless exhibited much attachment for his pure devotees on earth, as well as for the demigods who engage in his service in the heavenly planets as a powerful delegated directors in the management of all the material activities. He displayed special attachment for his family members, the Yadus, as well as all his 16,000 wives who had the opportunity to meet him in the leisure hours of a night. All these attachments of the Lord are manifestation of his internal potency, of which the external potency is only a shadow representation. In the Skanda Puran, Prabhasa Khanda, in the topic between Lord Shiva and Gauri, there is a confirmation of his internal potential manifestation. There is mention of the Lord's meeting with the 16,000 cowherd damsels, although he is the Hamsa, means transcendental, super soul and maintainer of all living entities. The 16,000 cowherd damsels are a display of a 16 varieties of internal potencies. This will be more elaborately explained in the 10th canto. It is said there that Lord Krishna is just like a moon, and the internal potential damsels are like stars around the moon. So here again the wonderful characteristics of the Lord that has explained that whenever he stayed in this world, he enjoyed his relationship with his immediate family members and especially with his 16,000 wives. And Prabhupada says they are none other than the internal potencies of the Lord. Shodashaha Shakti. They manifested in 16,000 different forms to give pleasure to their Lordship. As it has explained in Brahma Samhita, आनंद चिन्मय रस प्रतिभाविताभिः आवीर्ययव निज रूपतया कलाभिः गोलोकयेव निवसति अखिलात्मभूतो गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who resides in his own realm Golok, with Radha, who resembles like his own spiritual figure and who embodies the ecstatic potency, Ladini. Their companions are her confidants, who embody extensions of her bodily form and who are imbued and permitted with a ever blissful spiritual rasa. So all these 16,108 wives and 16,000 damsels of Raja, they were not different. They are the expansion of Srimati Radharani, who has expanded from Srimati Radharani to give the pleasure to their Lordship in different moods. same again that verse which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has spoken. Ekala Ishvara Krishna Arasabha Vritya Chara Jaiche Nachaye Taye Kare. So being a part and parcel and the potency of the Lord, it's our constitutional position to give him a pleasure. And that's what gives you a real pleasure. And that pleasure is totally transcendent. And we'll discuss about this today, winning a lot. Because today is the appearance day of Srimati Radharani, who is a pleasure-giving potency to their Lordship. And it is clearly mentioned in the purport by Prabhupada that Lord can't live without the internal potency, which is known as a Parashakti, which is beyond this material world. He may stay away himself from the external energy, and that's why it is called as a Bhinna Prakriti. But he can't stay away from his internal potency. And we'll discuss in the evening about the internal potency of the Lord. That is Srimati Radharani, how she has appeared to this material world to give all the pleasures to their Lordship. Hare Krishna. Shri Krishna Chandra Bhagavan ki, Srimati Radharani ki jai. Srila Prabhupada